7 p.m., September 2nd, 2025. Note this meeting is being televised, streamed, or recorded by Bourne TV. If anyone in the audience is recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. I do see Owen Drury, Owen up there. And please refrain from using flash photography. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the following conference line: 1-929-205-6099, Zoom meeting ID 897-1229-3538, password Bourne, all caps. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. All items within this meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes, and I will call this public session into order in open session. We'll start with our...
Did we omit, did we forget a moment of silence?
I'm going to do that now.
I know,
Moment
but
of
it's not on the-
silence and a...
It's not on the agenda.
Right, Pledge of Allegiance.
There's a reason.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Anyone want to take on the vision and mission, one or the other, or both?
I'll do the vision. Bourne is a proud community that embraces change while respecting the rich heritage of the town and its villages. It's a municipality based on strong fiscal government with a durable economy that recognizes the rights of all citizens, respects the environment, especially the coastal areas of the community, and the amenities that it affords. Bourne embraces excellent education and offers the citizens a healthy, active lifestyle.
Thank you. And the mission?
Sure. Bourne will maximize opportunities for social and economic development while retaining an attractive, sustainable, and secure coastline and environment for the enjoyment of residents and visitors. Through responsible and professional leadership and in partnership with others, Bourne will strive to improve the quality of life for all residents living and working in the larger community.
Thank you. I do want to make note that Jean Azarovitz is online, just so everyone knows. So we will do roll call vote. I do roll call vote for everything anyhow. All right. Shout out. I think I'm just going to start. I don't have any like a specific shout out, but I did want to make sure and make a note this session to acknowledge, our school year has started. And I do want to shout out to all of our, our teachers who planned and got ready for our students to come into their classrooms, and our first responders, the police and fire, who really keep them safe. And that was really my shout out for this morning. I know Peter had this evening. Sorry, I'm a day behind.
Oh, no, it's all right. There's a couple. I want to say thank you to the Cape Cod Canal Chamber of Commerce for putting on their summer concert series with great success. Some nights were canceled due to weather, but we did the best we could with the remaining nights because I helped participate there. As part of it, we had bins out for the Bourne Food Pantry this summer. And what people don't know is this time of year, the Bourne Food Pantry, well, not now, but in the summer months, it is their quietest time of the year. So we're trying to, to help the Bourne Food Pantry with food donations in any other way we can get them in there. So, which is our way of doing that. And also, Emily Bakayaki and the Marina. We just ended Labor Day, and I've been down on I live on Taylor's Point, so we have Taylor's Point Marina, and we also have Monmouth Beach and Pocasset. And I see the staff running around, working very hard, for our boat patrons, throughout the summer, and we can't thank them enough because it's very demanding in the summertime. So it's nice to say thank you to the Marina staff that stepping up, but also to the patrons who are our customers. Without them, we don't have the revenue. So I appreciate that very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on. Thank you for that. So next we have public comments on non-agenda items. Public comments are allowed for up to a total of 12 minutes at the beginning of each meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes for comment, Board members, unfortunately, are unable to respond due to posting requirements of the open meeting law. So if you've signed up for public comment, please stand up, come to the microphone, give us your name and the village that you live in, and your address, and we can go from there if there's someone ready to speak. It's okay, if you didn't sign up and you'd like to get on public comment, please come up. Yeah, it's okay. Generally, they just sign by the door. It's okay that you haven't.
Hi, there's a group of us here tonight in support of the addition of a second handicapped parking spot on H-Dock Marina. This has become a need as we currently have 2 boat owners there on H-Dock that have legitimate handicap passes, especially Peter Noring, who has been there a long, long time and suffers from MS, clearly is in need of a handicap accessible spot to get down to his boat. And up until this year, it's never been an issue because there's been 1 handicap spot and 1 handicap person, but now there's a second person, so it's become an issue. Peter just can't boat if he can't get one of those handicap spots, and sometimes the other fella is there already. So that's kind of where we're coming from in terms of being able to get a second spot there on that dock.
All right, thank you, sir.
Anybody else want to?
Yeah, feel free, don't be shy. You got 2 minutes, so.
Ben Spalding, I'm also a marina guy. You know, if there's any way to expedite the process, because the season's gonna be over, you know, October 1st, basically. I guess the marina closes November 1st, but technically people start pulling their boats, so, you know, the longer we're taking here, Peter's losing his season. So whatever, I don't know how, I guess you guys can't answer any questions, but whatever we can do to try to speed things up would really be appreciated.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in. Do we have anyone else on public comment who wants to add or share? Oh, one more, all right, here you go. Not a worry, not a worry.
The only reason I want to say something to help Peter out, I'm next to him. I see what he has to go through to try and get on that boat. And it is a process that no one in this room can even come close to trying to imagine watching a man crawl down a ramp on his hands and knees. We have put, my wife and I have put rugs on the dock so he doesn't get splinters. He has a bar on his boat to help himself get in. There's been an occasion where the other handicap spot has been full for 3 and 4 days. They've just left their truck there. And Emily's been in a very difficult position to try and push this gentleman to maybe move over one. But he has made it clear that he is also handicapped and doesn't seem to fully embrace the difficulty that Peter goes through to try and get out on his boat. So for us, being his neighbors, I'm with Ben. I think there should be something brought to the forefront to expedite this. So someone like him, he's my age. I mean, he's 70-plus years old, and he still goes out in his boat by himself. So whatever we can do to make it so that he can get to enjoy that small window of the summer, I would certainly appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else? All right, hearing none, moving on. We are going to take out of order this evening. The Select Board has agreed that it would be their pleasure to take the consent agenda out of order this evening because we do have some folks that are sitting here and they would have to sit through all of our deliberations this evening in order to wait for that. So we're going to start there. So Peter, just refresh me who is here and we can have
You
them.
want to do the suicide prevention first?
Oh, yes, the suicide. Should I do that first, or should I?
Whatever
I
you
think
prefer.
I think we'll do you want to just do consent agenda?
Yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Yeah, and then we'll do the suicide prevention first. Okay, so let me go to the consent agenda. And so our consent agenda this evening, we have Chris Weatherby Memorial Toy Run, use of town roads for annual motorcycle procession on November 2nd, 2025. Friends of Bourne, COA and Food Pantry, November 15th, 2025. Use of the community building for their fall psychic fair and craft show, rental fee waiver. C is an appointment of M. Alexander to Energy Advisory Committee, June 30, 2026. Ending, that would be the end, I would imagine. And ZBA Associate Member with the term ending June 30th, 2026. D, Monument Beach Polar Club, January 1st, 2026. Use of the Monument Beach for their annual polar plunge. Parking, 2, parking sticker requirement waiver. Sale of stock T-shirts, logo hats during event. And then E, we have the Bourne Youth Basketball Association rental fee waiver. So,
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
okay, we have a motion from Peter, motion from MJ, and a second from Peter. Do we have any further discussion on these? All right, hearing none, I will do a roll call vote. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0. So moved, it's all approved. Thank you so much.
You're all set.
We're all set. We didn't want to make you wait.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. And, okay, so moving on, we have this evening a suicide prevention proclamation declaring September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Do I read this first?
Yes.
And then we vote, okay. So, National Suicide Prevention and Action Month proclamation. Whereas, with September being recognized as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, the Cape and Islands Suicide Prevention Coalition invites our communities, mental health advocates, prevention organizations, survivors, and allies to join us in helping to destigmatize, seek to raise mental health and take proactive action towards suicide prevention. We seek to raise awareness and visibility of mental health and suicide prevention resources in our communities and help connect individuals with the appropriate support systems. And whereas, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP, suicide is the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34, with more than 48,000 people dying by suicide annually in the United States. And whereas, with an average of 132 deaths daily, and each one directly impacting 125 additional people, including friends, service members, family, social media connections, and neighbors, we know a significant number of individuals have been impacted by suicide. And whereas Barnstable County's suicide rate is 1.5 times higher, standing at 14.4 per 100,000, versus the state of Massachusetts' suicide rate of 9.5 per 100,000. We recognize the need to create hope through action by changing the narrative locally. And whereas our local Cape and Island Suicide Prevention Coalition works hard to spread the word about prevention, awareness, education, and action through trainings, forums, and events in our region. And whereas the town of Bourne, Massachusetts, publicly places its full support behind the Cape and Island Suicide Prevention Coalition and those who work in the field of suicide prevention and research, mental health, education, and law enforcement on a daily basis. And whereas we encourage all residents to take time to understand mental health through education and recognize that we need to take care of our mental health while we take care of each other. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Bourne Select Board, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Bourne, dated today, September 2nd, 2025.
Motion to approve the proclamation as posted.
All right, we have a motion by Peter,
Second.
second by MJ. Any further discussion?
I will after we vote.
All right. So roll call vote, Anne Marie,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
MJ.
Yes.
Melissa, yes, 5-0-0. Abstain, none opposed.
Just, now we just approved this proclamation, and one thing here in Bourne, we almost lost our inpatient mental health facility back in January if we didn't, go to a legislative delegation, and thanks to Dylan Fernandez and Dave and Exaros and a few others, we were able to keep that from happening. But if we still need to keep that in our mind, because you never know what the future's going to bring. In mental health, people most of the think it's not a priority, when more than ever now mental health is a priority, and we need to just keep it in our thoughts, and see when it comes to the funding for the next fiscal year at the state level, we need to advocate to keep Pocasset Mental Health Center open, because it houses, there's not many beds as it is, so, and mental health patients need it as well. So it's just my 2 cents.
Any other comments? Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, mental health, and I think we all need to be cognizant of our mental health. We're in some extremely stressful times, and I think we're still all recovering post-pandemic, to be honest. So thank you for that. Our friends, I don't know exactly who I'm to give this to this evening. Okay. I will be happily hand this to you. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you'd like to, come to the, if it's up to you. Sure, just a minute. Yeah, please.
Hi, my name's Dr. Marware, and I'm the co-chair of the Cape and Islands Suicide Prevention Coalition, but I'm also I live in the town of Bourne, right here in Buzzards Bay, so I'm very happy that you all signed this proclamation. It's really important, and I just got the new statistics today, and we're actually much higher than 1.5 right now against the state. We're more like 2.5. They just came in, the data. They're not even announced yet. So we have a concern to help the people of Cape and Islands, and I'm hoping that the town of Bourne can be a great example for that. And I know we've had our own tragedies in the town itself, and having the real way here is a concern of mine, because sometimes that's how they happen. And so I just want to say thank you very much for signing this and being role models for the rest of the towns on the Cape. Thank you.
Can I ask
Thank
a
you.
question?
Sure,
Yes.
go ahead.
You said we were higher. Who was we? Cape and Islands?
Sorry, the Cape Cod, Barnstable County
Okay.
has 2.5 higher suicide average than the rest of the whole Massachusetts.
Okay.
We're one
Thank
of the top 2 counties in the state, Barnstable County. It's only us and the Berkshires. So we have some concerns that we have to address here on the Cape.
Thank you for sharing
Thank you
that.
for your work.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. All right, moving on. So next on our agenda for this evening, we have an update from ISWIM Building Committee, possible recommendation to terminate contract with OPM for convenience. Hi, Asa.
Good evening. Good to see you.
You as well.
2 weeks in a row.
I know.
For the record, Asa Mintz, ISWIM Building Committee Chair and ISWIM Operations Manager. When we last met, we talked a little bit about the building itself. I asked that we postpone the discussion of the OPM to tonight. We have had a lot of internal discussion as well as public discussion regarding the performance of our OPM in the last 2 meetings. We had a meeting last Tuesday and a meeting this Tuesday. Ultimately, we're recommending to the Select Board that we terminate the contract of the OPM for convenience. As I mentioned, there's been much discussion regarding the OPM, and it's been the OPM hasn't really led the project like we would want them to. They've been generally pretty quiet and not, nice guys, nice group of guys, but we just haven't gotten the performance out of them that we want to. So ultimately, we came to this decision. We've talked to town council. We talked to them today at our meeting. We also talked to them internally last week. and they kind of helped us navigate through this process a little bit. And the big question was, we're going to be left without an OPM for a period of time while we go back out and request qualifications again. So she said that's all right as long as we're moving forward with that request, which we will starting tomorrow with Liz and I. We have an updated RFQ. That being said, we're going to expand the scope of the RFQ to encompass the transfer station. So we have these two projects, and they're kind of starting to drift together a little bit, and it makes a lot of sense to have one OPM oversee all of this. If we're going to make this move, it makes a lot of sense to have one OPM rather than have to do this process all over again. So it's not a step lost. And this isn't something that we've taken lightly. I know all the members of the building committee have thought long and hard about this, and we've probably had 3 to 4 hours of discussion
Sure.
on this alone. So it wasn't an easy decision, but I think that's where we need to go, and go back out for another RFQ, place the OPM, expanded RFQ, and we're going to have a lot going on this coming year.
Yes,
So
you are. This year.
with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
I can say as your representative to that committee that this is the right decision, a recommendation back to the select board to do this, it's the right time to do it. Unfortunately, we have to go this route, but, I mean, it's a lot of money, $25+ million for this project, and we gotta protect the town's interests, and the OPM's supposed to be protecting us. And when we're not getting work out of the OPM for the money that we allotted, at the many chances, this is what we have to do, and it's the right decision. Then that the committee recommends back to the town administrator and to the board.
Thank you.
I think we'll be better for it in the long run.
Very good.
No comment.
No comments. All right. Jean, anything? All right. So do we need a motion for this evening? Are you requesting that we vote, or somebody
So
make a motion on this?
if the board is ready, what I would recommend is that you authorize me to work with town council to prepare the termination for convenience.
So move.
Second.
Okay, so Peter motioned, second by Anne Marie. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean? Yes. Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa? Yes. Unanimous. You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Excellent. All right, moving along nicely. So next we have the staffing update from our police department.
Thank you for inviting me tonight. And for the record, Chief Easip, Bourne Police Department. So I'll give you a little history of where we stand right now. So when I became chief, since I became chief, we've hired 16 police officers. Of those 16, 10 remain with our department. The 6 that no longer remain with us don't remain because of either not being able to make field training standards or for disciplinary or other termination issues. We have had 6 retirements in the time that I've been here. Those are all command staff that have reached the end of their career and retired. We've also had, there was also 1 disability retirement in there as well. With that, where we stand today is we recently gave 3 conditional officer employment, and there was 1 individual who received a conditional offer employment several months ago, but was on military leave, and under civil service, we had to wait for him to meet that obligation. He has met it. He is attending the police academy starting in October. The other 3 will be starting the police academy, what we plan in December. We have them on a wait list for October, but it's very tight timeline to meet certain thresholds. With that, it will leave us with 3 open police officer positions and 1 open dispatcher position. We are actively working with civil service and with HR to fill those positions as soon as we can with qualified candidates. We just completed a hiring round where we had a total of nearly 200 names on a list. Of that 200, we had 16 individuals that signed the list, and then they signed the list and also submitted applications to us. Of those 16, that's what resulted in 3. Those that we didn't hire were either because of items we came up in their background that didn't meet the standards that reflect what we want in our community, or they just weren't ready yet, or there were individuals that elected to go to another community for whatever reason. But I'm very proud of the 3 that we have hired. One of those which was an officer, a community service officer that's been with us for 2 years, and she was very excited to join our department this year. So we're moving in the right direction. I'm hoping to some point be able to say those mythical words of full staffed in the near future, but that's not tonight. But we are working our way towards there, and I'm very proud of where we stand today on that. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. Anyone want to start?
Through the chair.
Sure, of course.
If I remember right, I think you also hired or created a clinical social worker position to go out with the officers. How's that working out?
That, we had to terminate that individual due to, I'll just say personnel matters. At the same time, we actually lost our funding. The state cut their funding for clinicians, and they have not returned that funding so a lot of departments that had 2 clinicians were knocked down to 1. Those that didn't have active clinicians at the time did not get that funding. The state is moving towards reinstituting that funding. We have submitted our application. It is waiting for essentially the governor to sign off on saying that money is available, so then we can hire. So we have a detective ready to go and start with that process, but there's no money in the piggy bank to pay for it.
To follow up, if the state doesn't go through with getting money back to the communities, is it a position that's important enough that you can find a way to fit it within your operating budget?
Within our existing operating budget, no. That would be something that we would have to have a discussion with the town administrator and go through the budgeting process of adding an additional personnel spot to our budget, but it's not something that is currently within our existing budget.
Okay.
It is a very important position, and that's why I want to fill it as quickly as I can with hopefully the state gets their funding, and as recently as a couple of weeks ago, we have been told that it's in process, but we need that money to be available.
Okay.
What is the current staffing in terms of the mythical 4-cruiser plan?
So we're on the so we are at that 4-cruiser plan. We have anywhere from between 4 and 6 officers on each night. Sometimes that does result when it's on the lower end of a night when there's only 4 officers scheduled and somebody's sick or on vacation. It does result in overtime. But there are nights where we have 6 officers, 5 officers, and so it's not every night. Our overtime isn't getting killed right now. We've been able to stay within the budget, within our budget for the past 3 years, but our overtime falls into also our empty personnel positions, which is over. But overall, our personnel budget has been within budget for the last 3 years.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Sure, of course.
So if you had the people that you're attempting to get, how many staff, like how much, where are we in terms of staffing for the department then?
Total staffing?
Yeah.
So total staffing will be 57 employees in the department. Of that, 37 of those would be either police officers or detectives. And then the command staff accounts for 11 individuals because we did add the 1 lieutenant last year. And then we have 5 dispatchers, one of which is a lead dispatcher and 4 dispatchers. So there's some clerical staff in there as well, but a total of 57 personnel within the department would be fully staffed.
So do we generally have 4 cruisers on the road, 4 to 6 cruisers on the road for every shift?
There is no time where we don't have a minimum of 4 crews. That is the minimum plan that we operate on, and we are staying within that. With the growing town, that minimum is likely going to have to be higher. It's been some of our busiest season. This summer was extremely busy. Our calls for service are way up. We're finding that it's tough in just the way the town is designed now, where we have one officer assigned to Buzzards Bay. Well, now with high-density housing, that might not be possible. If the base project comes to fruition, that's an area we currently don't patrol. So that's something that's on our as we see these projects, it's great to see them coming in, but we have to look at a full offset plan does not work with that kind of growth.
Agreed, yeah, thank you for that. Anne Marie, anything?
No, good.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm good. I think my colleagues
I
address
think
any
that-
questions I might have. I appreciate the work you do, and hopefully we can get you staffed, you know?
I'm confident we'll get there.
Well, we'll have the conversation this winter in the budget process. We'll get ready to create the annual budget, for town meeting in May. But this is a broken record on my part, but I think we need to have a conversation on both public safety departments. Yesterday there was a call where we had mutual aid coming in because we couldn't get, because our Bourne Fire Department was at, out on every call that they were at. And then you and your staff, and the community's getting larger. We got the bridge project coming. We're gonna have to start thinking about ways to increase staff, and with our public safety departments, fire and police, just to protect the townspeople. So I know that means more money, which means we gotta assess priorities, or maybe we start talking about the unfortunate, which is an operational override if we don't have the money for it, but, pointing out over 1, 3, 5 years, just go down the road and maybe we can see, maybe we can afford it down the road, but we're a growing community and with growing need for services and it's not just fire and police, it's a lot of our departments, and we can't give everybody everything they want, but I trust the town administrator, and the department heads to see about planning ahead and seeing what realistically can be done.
Just one thing so I will say that the town is very well protected with our current staffing that we have.
No doubt.
It is not an immediate concern. It would not be, our existing staffing is quite sufficient to handle the needs that we have. It's more of the long-term planning of when we see these projects coming through and we see things going in the planning process that we might be looking at where we stand in 10 years.
Sure.
But for an immediate, a fully staffed department allows that flexibility to have 5, 6, 7 officers available, and then I can be a little bit more flexible in the patrol plan as opposed to being at a minimum. I can have more options for traffic control and other things, but as we stand right now, I believe we're in a good position and moving toward a better position.
And we'll see you next Thursday at National Night Out.
National Night, 5 to 7 p.m.
Oh, 5.
5 to 7 p.m. Thank you.
It gets dark early.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief Easep. Next, we have preparation for October 20 special town meeting. Okay.
Thank you. So, the warrant is still open, so I don't have the draft prepared for you, but I have started framing it up. One of the items that you will see again is the police station roof. So I plan on returning before you, Capital Outlay and Finance Committee, with the full proposal again for $2.5 million to completely remove and replace the entire roof system. The facts have not changed since we discussed it in May, but the litigation has proceeded slowly, slightly, but the suit has been filed. We are actively working on it, and I do still want to ask for the money before we have the litigation settled, because it's a long, intensive process to do a roof like this. And even if we had the settlement in hand now, we're still probably a couple years away from getting the project finished. So we're not going to see the settlement before October. So any time that we can buy for the building, I think is to our benefit. Obviously, the objective here is that the settlement will fully reimburse the town for any out-of-pocket costs associated with this. I can't promise that at this point, but that's what we're working towards.
Excellent. All right. Any comments, questions from the board on that?
I have a comment.
Sure, please.
One of the questions that came up at town meeting was, why wasn't there a bond that was paying for this? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I do think that it would be worthwhile for us to think about the questions that were asked at the special town meeting and be proactively prepared to answer some of the questions and objections so that we can explain to people how the process works and why it's really necessary to take this action, at this time. And I also think that I watched the Capital Outlay Committee meeting when you presented to the Capital Outlay Committee, like the whole story about how it happened and how it was noticed that the roof was bubbling and then how much work went into figuring it out and how it changed and that we were actually within a time frame that made a real difference. So I think it's really important that the board and the town administrator be really prepared to present this in a way that the questions are answered. So.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? We're good?
Have there been any temporary measures so there's no additional damage to the structure?
So we are taking all measures that we can to, capture any leaks. The roof area itself is not leaking. The leaks are coming in around the stack penetrations and the antenna penetrations, so we have a pretty good handle on where that's happening and we're able to catch it.
Yeah.
The larger roof area, the issue is really that the moisture from inside the building is not being let out appropriately.
Okay.
Okay. Next week, excuse me, I have the hiccups. We have the next B, C, D, E, and F are fire department. B, C, D, and E are our fire department. So
Yes.
we'll,
The chief is here.
I see that. I figured we would be giving you the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Dave Palazzi, Fire Chief. Thanks for having me. I know it looks like we have a lot on the, potentially on the agenda for special town meeting, and there's a reason that some of this is coming up now. The first two items, B and C on ours, are grant-related. We have two FEMA Assistance to Firefighters grants out right now that we put in last year and have gone through the review process. They have not awarded anything yet. We don't have any indication that we are going to get an award other than the grants management specialist for FEMA reached out during the review process, let us know that we did get a favorable review. We just don't know which of the two or if it's both. And they needed some more information from us, so we were able to provide that. So that's why it came up now instead of as part of our regular capital at the annual town meeting. So the first one is for our SCBA, the self-contained breathing apparatus. These are the packs that we wear on our backs on a lot of the calls that we go on. Our breathing air bottles with those packs are set to expire at the end of September of 2027. They've reached their end of life. There's nothing else we can do to retrofit these or bring them, extend their life any longer. So we need to replace them by then. Initially, when we started looking at the process, when Chief Cody was still here and started putting this in our capital plan, we were debating whether we just replace the bottles or the packs as well that go with those. The packs now are not NFPA compliant. They've reached their life as well, and that's why we put in for everything all at once instead of piecemealing it and try to get the bottles and then the packs. They're still safe for us. We wouldn't be using them if we weren't, but they're starting to break down more, increase maintenance costs, repairs, things like that. So if we do get a favorable grant award, what we'd be looking for is the 10% match of the grant and then some extra ancillary equipment that's not grant eligible. So that's what that would be for.
Any questions?
And when is this on the plan? When has this been on the plan for what fiscal year?
It's on for next fiscal
For
year. Yeah.
26?
Yes.
27.
27.
It's,
Yeah.
so it's been on the plan for 27?
Yes.
But because of the grant, you're moving it up to
Correct.
26?
And if we're not favorable on this grant, I'm going to apply for it again next year.
Okay, so it will be subject to approval of the grant for FY '26?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah, and then if not, we gotta kind of have to, I'm gonna do my best to
Yeah.
get the government to help us offset the cost, but if not, the full amount in 27.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Think we work there.
Question.
Go ahead, please.
When do you anticipate the hearing? There's no
No.
timeline?
No, and things with FEMA right now are FEMA, so. It usually, I think in past years, it's been around September, October that
Okay.
they start putting the awards out, so I'm hoping anytime. And there'll be a number of groups that'll do the first round, and it usually goes a number of rounds, but I'm hoping that a favorable review is good. So.
All right. All right, thank you. So moving on, we have the forestry vehicle next, right?
Yep, and we initially had this on for replacement this year. We ended up swapping it out with our breaker instead, because we had indication that the forestry vehicle would be more likely to receive an award from FEMA, so that's why we did the breaker first, because that truck was in worse shape, but this one's older, so we applied for grant funding to replace that. We currently run with a 1993 military Humvee that was given to us through excess property. It's great, it's a tank when it runs, but it's a 1993 Humvee, and the pump that's on it, again, was also free for us. We're using it as best we can, but it's been out of service quite a bit, and repairs are starting to add up, so we put in for that as well. So if, in the event that that receives a positive review, we'd be looking for the match for that as well.
Is it 10%?
That was, yes, yep, still 10%. And that was not on our plan originally. I put that on the capital plan for replacement for 27 as well, because of the increasing issues we've been having with it, so.
Okay, any questions on the truck? All right, moving on, we have next the ambulance replacement.
Yep. So the ambulances are the backbone of our department. Those are the calls that we run through the most, and they take the brunt of the mileage, the abuse. The reason we put this on now and moved it up a little bit is because when we purchased the last one and signed the agreement on it, we found out we're 24 to 28 month build time on ambulances. And we're trying that, the one that we just did at last town meeting replaces our 2017 truck. Then we have two 2019s and two 22s. So we're trying to get off the buying two at once cycle and kind of get into a regular cycle. So unfortunately, ordering it now still puts us 24 to 28 months out, and we're gonna end up increasing our mileage, which is increasing because we're doing more calls, we're driving to the trauma center more frequently now in New Bedford and occasionally at South Shore and Weymouth, and we're just busier. So this will kind of hopefully get us in line. And again, we moved it up a little bit because of the long time to replace ambulances.
Thank you. Any questions?
And we don't have to buy a smaller ambulance anymore because the header that was changed over in Mo Beach and a new station coming online. So by the time that's there, you know.
They will fit in
Yeah.
plenty of room in the station, yes.
Go ahead, MJ.
Yeah, so I would like to see sort of a plan, an ambulance plan that tells me what ambulances we have and sort of scope out when we think we're gonna have to replace them. What we're using for ambulances is we upgraded our ambulances from, I don't know what level, to a higher grade level that was more heavy duty. You know, I think we went to internationals from something else, and you know, when we did that, one of the selling points was they were gonna last longer. They were gonna
And
be
they
8 to
have,
10 years instead
but-
of 6 to 8 years. So I'd just like to be able to see, how's it working? I mean, you know, these ambulances are they're expensive now. I mean, any equipment is expensive. So I do agree with you that they're the backbone. I like to be able to do it I like to be able to do it in line with the plan with the ambulance fund, so that we're doing it. We got some bonuses with ARPA funds, where we got a couple, like with ARPA funds, so.
Yes.
But I would like to really see this out so that we know when we get them and when they'd be coming in the future, so, you know.
Absolutely. I looked at the historic data too, and we've gone anywhere from 4-year replacement up to 9 years, depending on, with like a 6-year average, and we're definitely going to exceed that right now, but thanks COVID for other stuff, and, you know. And the International Fire Chiefs and the International Association of Firefighters are working with legislature to try to figure out what the issue is with what's taking so long to build fire. And thank God these are only a 2-year build, because our engines, ladder trucks are 3+, and they're way more expensive.
Are we using the internationals now instead of, I forget what the others.
They don't make them
Horton or-
anymore.
I don't know.
Nope.
No, we're back
Nope,
to Ford.
they don't make them anymore. They
Yeah.
stopped making that model.
Yeah.
So we're at, I believe, 4 of the F-550s now, and very happy with what we have. They're just,
Any chance on the Fairhaven fireboat situation? Have they disposed of that so we can get it?
unsolicited, I got an email recently, actually, the assistant chief got an email. We did, one of our new cadets went down to their burn building for their live burn training before coming on to shift, and worked with the chief there, and unsolicited mentioned that hopefully that'll be turning over soon, so.
Nice.
Good.
Very good. All right. No further questions on the ambulance. We have vehicle exhaust recovery system retrofit.
And this is another thing that kind of popped up on our radar, not initially something we were planning on. In the process of planning for the new station, I attended a couple of conferences and saw a new vehicle, not new, but new to us vehicle exhaust system that is more a filtration system. It doesn't have the hoses that we use now, and we've been having increased repair costs, damage to the system, because we're looking at now almost a 20-year-old system in Sagamore and a well older than 25-year system in Buzzards Bay. And the other thing we run into is our trucks are getting bigger. Despite having the doors, we don't have a lot of room in Buzzards Bay, and that system gets in our way. So in the process of planning for the new station, we looked at this recovery system as something we could put into the new system, and kind of wanted to incorporate it into our existing system. So we've solicited quotes for that, and we're kind of finalizing those numbers now to see if it's something that we can pull off. And I think it'll work better for us. It'll be less maintenance, less space in the stations, giving us more flexibility with our apparatus. Right now, the way it works is we have these tracks with the hoses on them, and if we move the vehicles around, they may not fit in other areas, whereas this other system will work no matter where we put it. If we start chainsaws in the building, if we start the car in the building, all of that exhaust will get taken care of. So it's increased flexibility, better safety, less reliance on our personnel to put the stuff on the truck. Sometimes we have people responding with one person in a fire engine, so they can't back the truck in and then put the hose on, and this will take care of all that. So it'll
Very good.
be much better for us.
Excellent. Any questions on that?
Can I just,
Sure,
can
go
I
ahead.
add to that?
Please, go ahead.
So, one of the things that became important as we were going through the design process for the new South Side station is, for these types of systems, we want to be as consistent as we can across the 3 stations. So, as personnel are moving between stations, we want to do whatever we can to kind of limit the having to remember. And we don't want to have people to have to remember to follow different procedures depending on where they're stationed. So, for all of the reasons the chief mentioned, we're very much looking forward to moving in this direction, and by also doing it in 1 and 3, we're going to have a kind of a level playing field. This is the standard, and people don't have to remember, I have to hook up in station 1, but I don't have to hook up in Station 2. So those types of things are important over time as far as training goes.
Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
Has this been in the capital plan, or is it newly added because of the work you've been doing on the South Side Fire Station?
Newly added.
And is there some reason that this needs to go on the special as opposed to going into the annual?
Well, I would say it can wait until the annual. However, we are realizing significant repair costs right now, and this, frankly, if the decision is to move in this direction, I would recommend changing as soon as possible so we can stop maintaining the old system, because it is getting expensive.
Well, I think that needs to be explained in the capital request. Thank you.
All right, and then no more questions on that? All right, the next up is our budget adjustments for police and fire overtime.
Thank you.
Thank you,
So,
Chief.
I don't, Eric and I will be coming forward to you with all of the budget adjustments. We've talked about a couple now, facilities and this one. We'll be coming forward to you with the numbers. However, I do want to preview that we know that we're not budgeting as high as we should be for police and fire overtime. It's a constantly moving target, but we are hopeful that we'll be able to catch up a little bit at this town meeting for FY '26. FY '25 ended fine. We were able to make everything work with what we have, but we are getting close. We're getting tighter on the overtime for the reasons both of the chiefs have talked to you now. So we're working very hard to fill those positions, and they've got a lot of recruits in the pipeline. But we are expecting FY '26 to be another high overtime year.
I'm proud of our public safety departments. I always have been, always will. We just need to try to give them the tools to do their job, effectively. So that's why I keep on asking the questions. But I'm proud of our fire and police departments, and all of our departments in town, but especially our fire and police. Anytime I've ever needed them, they've been there.
Thank you, Peter. Did you look like you wanted to say something? I'm just not sure.
It's just, I feel, we used to do a long-term plan that had like 5 years back of actuals and then 5 years forward.
Yep.
And it was good to be able to look at the actuals, because you could see what had actually happened to the budgets, not what you had budgeted, but what the actual thing was. And it's probably been around the 5-year mark, 5 years, where, overtime has always been such a battle that, we want to limit overtime, we want to eliminate overtime, and they've done things where I feel like there was a year where we cut it down and then we tried to do something else to fund it, and it just doesn't, you have to fund it right. And so I think this is a really good move towards really getting it where it needs to be. We know our chiefs are not going to bring people in unnecessarily on overtime, but we need to be able to have it funded so it's not, it's like all those years where we underfunded snow and ice, because we kept it at the, the low budget, because it was one thing you could leave at the low budget to make your budget balance, but it just got caught up into us in a bad year. So I'm totally in favor of getting the overtime budget to be at a place where it's not going to cause a lot of constriction at the end of the year, making sure that it's adequately budgeted without sort of being over budgeted. So I think it's good to work towards getting it in the right place. And some historic look about what did we budget and what did it come out of, over a couple of years would be really helpful, I think. Thank you.
We may have trends over 5 years, but over time it's unpredictable at times. You don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's pretty consistent, actually.
Well, in Bourne it may be, but you never know what may pop up. Injuries on the job and everything else. So,
Very true. All right. Next item. Discussion. Town of Bourne, future participation in the 4th of July parade. I do believe I'm diverting this to Jean. This is a request from Jean Xerovitz to try, she had wanted to discuss the 4th of July parade. So Jean, I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay, basically, I mean, I must say, no complaints about the parade. I love the 4th of July. It's a great thing for the town, and it's good to bring all those people into Buzzards Bay Park and everything. And we had such a beautiful day this year. However, this year we also had that storm that blew in the night before, and it created some issues in town that were, out of, just stuff happens, out of control, and the lights were having issues. And I was just thinking back in all the years we had the parade and how the rules, I thought it changed back and forth at times. And then when I look at the town website, at the very bottom of parades and processions, it's all the rules regarding vehicles. And basically it says the driver is legally responsible for the actions of persons on vehicles and floats, no throwing of any articles from vehicles, floats, or trailers, no jumping on and off the vehicle while it's on the way. And I think we're kind of skating on the edge of that a little bit with the candy throwing, and everyone is coming with all their bags ready to grab the candy. And I know that people are very careful, and no one wants to see anybody get hurt. But with our resources being stretched thin on such a holiday, this isn't a town parade, it's a private association. And our vehicles are in the parade, and there are employees driving DPW vehicles and other vehicles in the parade. And I just am concerned about the liability this opens to the town to be involved in this parade in particular. What if other associations were to request something? Are we going to have to use, are we going to be setting a precedent where we have town vehicles in all kinds of events? And I just think we need to take a policy look at this a little bit, take a step back.
Yeah, thank you, Jean. I'll go around if do you have any more to add or any other thoughts?
Nope.
All right, so I'll go around and let the board speak. If anybody has any thoughts or comments on this proposal or what it might look like, how we're going to handle it.
To me, and I'm just trying. I don't know what Jean's trying to get at. Is she basically saying, for the chair, you don't want town vehicles in the parade moving forward, or town departments participate in the parade? Is that your ultimate goal?
I think I don't have a goal. I mean, I just think my goal is to protect the town. And we've got town vehicles and drivers that are, according to our website, legally responsible for what happens with those vehicles. And it doesn't even spell out if there were an incident, heaven forbid a child should get hit or somebody should get injured, who's liable? Is the driver liable for that, or if something happens to the truck? And yeah, like I said, the parade is great, and there's a lot of vehicles that I think are wonderful to see and fun to have in the parade, but our resources are getting stretched thin, and I just don't know, either with discussion through town council or a policy matter, what are we opening ourselves up to every year? It's growing, the parade's growing, it's very popular, and it's a lot of time and resources to put it together too. So that's kind of double time,
But I think the town departments participate and shows, it gives them pride in in our community. I think they've been a big part of it. With the fire, the police, DNR, DPW, ISWAM. You go down the list. People look forward to seeing that stuff, and I think the employees at the same time enjoy being a part of it.
Right.
I don't
think anybody does. I don't think that. I would totally agree with you, Peter. I'm just speaking from a complete liability standpoint. According to the rules on the site too, we're not supposed to be throwing candy and everything from the trucks.
Well, we can talk about processes and seeing if things need to be streamlined. That's one thing, but
I'm concerned about this liability to the town having the vehicles.
I mean, we have open liability for a lot of things we do, as town events as well. It's not just the parade. We have a bonfire, an open bonfire over, in once a year, and a kid can get injured, at night with the bonfire. We got issues, at the beaches and everything else. I mean, if we go out looking for liability, we're gonna find it. But I think common sense needs to apply here because, I mean, this is an event that, people look forward to, and so, but it doesn't hurt to have a discussion, you
Um,
know, and see what we need to do.
All right, MJ?
There's other parades besides the 4th of July parade where town vehicles,
Yeah, well,
I mean, Pecasset, there's a
yeah.
Wings Neck one, there's a couple different ones. I'm not so concerned about the liability. I do think, though, that where the policy specifically says things will not be thrown from the vehicles, that there should not be candy thrown from the vehicles if it's totally against the policy, and that is definitely something that should be stopped. I mean, I didn't know it said that, so I wouldn't,
No, but
I didn't throw any candy anyway, but,
no, but I understand where, you know.
or from the vehicles, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anne Marie?
I do see James' point entirely with respects to ensuring in the event anything should happen and how, like, I love the participation, and I think, you know, it is a great parade, but perhaps there might be, I don't know, some kind of waiver or lack of, right, that we submit from the town.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, yeah.
Joe wants to talk.
Yeah, please, Joe, come on up.
Thank you. Thank you. Joe Carrara, and I'm speaking solely as a private citizen. If I had a different shirt, I would take this off, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Some of you may recall, my wife was the catalyst for the parade back in 2007, the year before we were walking the canal. And she's like, there's nothing going on in Buzzards Bay, let's do something. That next year, she organized the parade, and I just helped her and did whatever she said. I have shared what Jean has brought up, her concern since day one. And on the application, it says no throwing of items. I was always afraid that a little kid was going to run out and we were going to have something like that. And on the application, you know, they were supposed to acknowledge that. The town is a key player in this parade. It wouldn't happen without the town. The town has been so generous with police details and all the participation from the departments. I'd love to see the town continue, and I think Jen Kennedy does an amazing job. But I do share Jean's concerns, and we have not talked about this, that we need to stop things being thrown from vehicles, because I just think kids are going to run out, and it gets crowded, and I do have that concern. So I just did want to say that.
Well, I agree with that.
So, I'd like, yeah, go ahead, and I'll go after.
So I want to briefly just touch on the liability, because, so, the town of Bourne personnel, the town of Bourne equipment is covered by the town of Bourne's insurance. Now, the policy really applies to the private vehicles in the parade. And what we're getting at, what we're saying is that the town's insurance is not extended to private vehicles in the parade. So, but the town's equipment and the town's personnel is certainly covered by the town's policy. Because this is an event that is sanctioned by the select board, it's approved. And so if Joe was driving a fire truck and there was an accident, Joe would not personally be held liable. He cannot personally drive the town's fire truck. He would be covered by the insurance. Clearly, we need to do some work with the parade organizers with the throwing.
Yeah.
So, I share the same concerns as Eugene. I had thought about this and, once the discussion came to the table and we had put on the agenda, and I agree about the throwing the candy. I had a concern with that the first year, and I just thought a lot of it was one, obviously, so that the children coming out into the street, but I'm also a really big germaphobe, and throwing candy onto the ground where people spit and walk and all of that really freaked me out. So that was a hard thing for me anyhow, so I wouldn't be disappointed to see nothing be thrown from the vehicles, especially if there's a policy on it, which I wasn't even aware of, right? That you said, I didn't even know that.
That was a policy.
I think that's, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, the kids love the candy and all of that, but throwing it was like my issue, and having all the kids running in the, like you said, into the street, and then I'm watching, my grandchildren reach down and there's a lungie or, people just aren't clean, right? Our grounds aren't clean. So that was another thing. So, yeah, I agree, but if their liability, so the concerns for the liability aren't as much of a concern.
For town vehicles.
For town.
Vehicles.
For town vehicles and town personnel.
But a very valid point, Jean. Thank you for bringing it up, right? And Joe has just stated that he had these same concerns over the years, so I really appreciate that you did bring it to the table and we're talking about it.
Yeah, Joe can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at one point, because, yeah, it's been going in 2007, I was trying to remember the beginning of when it started, because I remember at one point with the Bourne community voting, we had a sailboat we decorated, and we were trying to get the Finney's Harbor thing. I think it was the beginning of that as well. Around that time, we were told we couldn't throw, and I think at one point people were trying to give out like frisbees and other things to the kids, and I kind of slid back into it again. And I really did try and put stuff in the bags, but there are so many kids and so many bags, that's why trunk or treat is so much a better situation for something like that, because, yeah, it doesn't end up on the road, and you can keep the parade moving as well.
Right.
And thank you for addressing the concern about liability. I just didn't know if we had a policy about town vehicles being in such, in parades or processions at all.
Very good point. Yeah, thank you. All right, any further discussion? Any questions, comments?
I just think that when, that there should be some discussion with the organizer.
Yeah.
And that when we do, I don't remember, and there's no way for me to like look up when was the 4th of July parade, like approved by the select board. I can't look that up there. I'd have to try to compare it through
May,
my.
June, usually around May or June.
Yeah, but they have insurance themselves, right? So the parade organizers have insurance and we have insurance, but we should make sure that if there are rules that, especially in this case, that the select board, and I don't know if anybody else throws candy, but that it's that policy should be enforced. But also, and usually for parades, the parade is on the street, and the people that are watching the parade are separated out from the parade. They're not like interspersing, and so that's another thing to think about in terms of organizing that for the safety reasons to have it go straight. So,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jean.
Jean.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have implementation on achieving select board goals voted on August 27th, 25. So why don't I just start very quickly with reading the goals that we voted, and then we can dig into the conversation. So on August 27th.
Is this gentleman here for like licensing or something?
I'm not sure. Are you here for an agenda item, sir? We don't want to make you wait if it's something we could.
No, I'm enjoying this.
Okay, all right, good. We just,
process.
okay.
I'm Mike Alexander, I was appointed to.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sitting through it, Mike. I appreciate you being here. All right, so the annual select board goals, we voted August 27th, 2025 at our workshop. One, we, of course, secure funding, hire designer, OPM, and go out to bid for the police station roof and manage the litigation. 5-year capital plan, prioritization, and debt projections. Focus on pursuing 2 watershed permits, define the project and scope of work, hire consultants, and our final was to improve and enhance communication policy for the select board members, with each other, with the public, with the TA, website, social media, and press requests. And that is our list. So I don't know. Let's see, we have next steps to advance the 2 watershed permits is our first item A. So where do we want to start? Marlene, I'm going to take my jacket off.
So for the select board's consideration in your packet, I laid out a series of potential workshop dates. This is just for you to discuss on how you want to organize your work, whether you want to hold a series of workshops separate and distinct from your regular meetings or not. So it's really just an idea.
I did see the attachment that you had submitted, implementation for advancing annual goals. So let's see, for the watershed permits, Marlene did recommend that we establish a series of workshop meetings to create additional dedicated agenda spaces for these discussions. And then she had some potential workshop dates. Is that what those were for?
Yep, just as a starting point.
Just as a starting point. And so it's for all of the above, you're saying, not just for the watershed permits, because it's below the improving communication as well.
So my recommendation is a series of workshop meetings for the watershed permit goal.
Okay.
And a series of workshop meetings for the communication policy
I
goal.
see. All right, just wanted to be clear on that for the
Yep.
people at home. So we had two separate sets. Workshop Series 1 would start September 11th. It would go 11th, October 9th, November 6th, December 4th, and then all meetings would be from 1 to 2:30. The potential schedule for the Series 2 would be September 18th, October 16th, November 13th, December 11th. Those would be from 3 to 4:30. And the suggestion is that either the workshops be all 100% in person or 100% virtual. I know how I would vote, what I would like to see that, but of course we'll go around and let everyone else kind of give us some thoughts there.
Just for this, I'll disclose October 16th, and either the 12th or the 13th of November, I have medical appointments.
I think even before we
Yeah, sure, yeah,
establish
the
the
dates, right.
workshops and the dates, I think one of our select board meetings, not a workshop meeting, should discuss the conflict, the ethics.
Yeah.
And the question that I had posed to legal counsel, and then
That's as
the
good.
follow-up
yes.
with the state ethics. At the state level, I did have some office hours with legal counsel at the state
Yes.
ethics.
You did.
So, and I do have a follow-up inquiry with the state ethics, because I do have some follow-up questions for them, which they haven't responded yet to, but oftentimes it takes a couple days for that. So, but I think that's a conversation that has to be had. When it's an agenda item,
Yeah.
I will disclose what I had, the information that I received and the recommendations that were made by our legal counsel and the state ethics committee.
Okay, do you want me to explain sort of what you, what you inquired about, or do you want to just give a quick review for the people at home, what you inquired
Sure,
about?
so, since, the board made the decision to file, we filed a letter of intent, a notice of intent for 2 watershed permits in our, for Megantic-Squetique Harbor and Finney's Harbor, which are our nitrogen-sensitive areas. I live in Finney's Harbor. So what happens is, in the foreseeable future, the decisions that are made at this table could have a financial impact. So my decisions have a financial impact on me and my family. My husband's business office is also in Megantic-Squetique Harbor. So there's an ethics issue with respects to decisions for me pertaining to decisions about the watershed permit in Finney's Harbor. So I inquired about that. When do I need to recuse myself? And I will tell you that the State Ethics Committee took a very hard line. So I want to have in writing the recommendations. I have in writing already legal counsel's recommendations. So it's something that needs to be brought forward as an agenda item in public at a select board meeting.
Before we can schedule the workshops,
Yeah.
I would think, yeah. I actually forgot that you had been working on that.
Yeah.
So thank you for reminding me. Okay, with that said,
Can I just make a comment? on
Sure.
that? I think if we're going to have that discussion, that we should have town council here, and that we should also talk about how it affects in the sewer system. So if we have people that are in the sewer system, on the sewer system, and we're deciding to make a $2 million, project that could affect their rates, they still participate in that discussion. The only time they recuse themselves from the discussion is when it's the actual rate discussion or the overage rate discussion, is because they might be directly impacted. So I think if we're going to have an ethics discussion, we should bring town council in, and we should have it as how it affects the decisions, the policy-making decisions that the board makes, as opposed to the rate-setting decisions that the board makes.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense, and of course, we would have a session, and we would want town council as present. That would
Right.
be the only way we could probably make it happen, so I appreciate that. Peter, any? Jean, any comments? No? All right, so now where do we go from there? Marlene, do you have any suggestions? Do you think we should, before we can really pick whether we're gonna do any workshops, do you think we should have the ethics conversation first? I would like your opinion on some of that, I know.
Well, certainly for I think that's certainly fair for the watershed permits before we start scheduling workshops.
Yeah.
No,
That's important, okay.
yeah.
All right, very good. Do we need a motion on that to move that forward, or just gonna work toward that? Okay.
Future agenda item.
Future agenda item, okay. And our next next is to improve the communication and develop a communications policy for the select board and members. So this, we could certainly talk about whether or not we would be willing to set up some workshops for that. I'll first go around to the select board and let you all give me your thoughts and opinions on that. We can debate this and go from there. Who wants to go first?
Well, I think,
Do we want to?
Jean?
I mean, I guess we're looking at Marlene did sort of set forth a schedule that we could possibly look at for times and dates. I know there's quite a few dates there, right? I just gotta go back to that page, my apologies.
Well, can I just make
Please.
a comment?
Yeah.
Or ask a question?
Please.
I know when we were doing the goal settings, we were throwing out some, ideas, but I don't know if there's a need or a want for a facilitator to help in formulating this type of policy, and then having legal counsel then review. Yeah, I don't know. Do we need a facilitator, or is it something that we think we can do on our own with respects to having conversations about policies surrounding communication? I don't know.
I did have some thoughts on that, but I'd rather go around first and hear some of the thoughts from
Or
the
some,
rest.
yeah. Do we need a facilitator to facilitate the conversation?
Good question.
Basically, that's the first thing. And then obviously, we'll need legal counsel, obviously, to weigh in on
Sure, of course.
whatever we decide to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But I had mentioned it earlier, Peter, when you weren't here, so I'm throwing it out again.
Yeah, okay. No, I think a facilitator's a must.
Okay.
And with this discussion, but I also think we're not, this issue has also been in other communities, so I think it's something that Mass Municipal Association may be able to help with, as far as discussion for social media policy and creating communication policies, but I don't know, I mean, I'll leave us to the workshop, but I have grave concerns if members are gonna be, these policies are gonna be created to silence us from being able to say what we want on social media or on certain pages, so it's, but those discussions, we can wait to, the workshop.
MJ?
I think one of the things that actually got left off the goals where it was discussed was Jean had also brought up communication with the state agencies, DEP and MassDOT, and that didn't get put into the goal, and I think that's an important thing to add to that goal. I think it was a key part of Jean's point when she was making it. And I think there are a number of things happening now where I think it's really important for us to be able to figure out a strategy for communicating with the state. I think if we're going to have a facilitator, We need to have a process for soliciting the facilitator, and we need to have the board comfortable with the facilitator that's chosen.
Yep.
That, you know, if we have a couple possibilities, that the board should participate in the discussion about who the facilitator is that's gonna work with the board. And we need to think about what's the most effective way if we're going to bring in a facilitator. I'm not sure that multiple hour-and-a-half workshops is going to be the most effective way to do it. I think we also have to make sure that it's going to have to be a format that we're going to get maximum participation in the board. So I think we have to think about that. I know that there were a lot of dates thrown out there and specific times, and I have concerns myself. And some of the dates that have showed are not going to work very well in my schedule, so that's another complex thing. So,
I think we should have a day set aside, or, you know, not just an hour and a half, not 90 minutes. I mean, I think we should have a day put aside for this, because it's going to affect a lot of how we operate, you know, moving forward. And I think 90 minutes is, over the course of a couple of weeks, isn't enough. I think we should, if we're going to bang this out, we should do it. We should have a day, like 4 hours or 5 hours set aside, and then come back maybe with 90 minutes afterwards to follow up. But this is if we're gonna do this, it should have the attention it deserves. And 90 minutes to me over 2 or 4 months, you know, doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, you know, the dates might be difficult here and there. I would suggest myself, I think with all of our very busy schedules, I would suggest a virtual workshop, to be honest, because it's hard to get, you know, back and forth and running around when you're in one spot and trying to get somewhere else for another meeting when you're already on a meeting on your phone here or there. So I would probably prefer virtual sessions myself. I know they're much more personable in person, but with schedules, and if we're doing this many, it might be the way to do it. You know, I don't think, you know, and I probably shouldn't even say that, I don't want to debate, but I just want to make note that, like, I don't think that any of this is to silence us or to silence anyone. It's a matter of respect and, you know, using our own resources to promote ourselves and sending the right messages to the town and the people that we're supposed to be serving. So I think it's more of it's a communication plan, not a plan to silence anybody from doing any speaking. It's quite on the contrary. It's to get the right messages across to our residents, and to make sure that our communication is accurate and understandable, because we know how quickly things can escalate on Facebook or social media. And we do have issues with private groups that not the whole town is a member of. So we've got a lot to discuss, you're right. There's going to be a lot more than 3 90-minute sessions probably to get it done.
Yeah, so I think we should.
So, Peter, you're saying you would like to just see a 4-hour block?
Yes.
Or 3. I mean, like,
That's a
if you're
long
gonna bring
time.
If you're gonna bring a consultant in, you know, an hour and a half,
Worth
you're
your
just gonna
while.
get started, and then, you know, then if you wait another week, and then you start all, you're
right.
starting all over
Another
again.
month,
I
yeah.
mean, it's different if it's a thing you can parse out, or if you're gonna say, we're gonna talk about, we're gonna have a 1.5 hour on, and talk about this particular thing that we really don't need a consultant for. There may be things we don't need a consultant for, but there's some broad things here that I don't even know what they mean, so.
Well, right. I mean, I think we've got a lot to talk about and unpack. So, all right. So I guess our first order of business will be to figure out the ethics thing in relation to our watershed permits, and then determine how are we going to handle the communications and the communications policy, whether it's a full day session with a navigator or whatever we call it, mentor, and so we have to think about those things, and what will we do, another future agenda item to discuss it.
I mean, should we?
Do you want to do the ethics in a workshop?
I don't think it needs
I
to
don't
be
think
no
we
work.
need to, but we could probably
Because
just,
it's pretty much just stating factual
Finding it
information,
out,
legal
right.
counsel.
We just need to
But
see.
I do understand how you want, like, the sort, having town council to, if we're gonna do an ethics discussion, and incorporate it all, then we would need a longer period of time. I don't think we need several workshops, if you call
No,
them
no.
workshops. I don't know where it would fit in our future agenda items for a select board meeting, or do we set aside, a 2-hour window? I don't foresee it taking longer than 2 hours.
No.
If we do. I mean,
Well, I didn't mean multiple things for the ethics. I meant, if we're gonna have an ethics discussion, and do we want to set a workshop where there's an ethics discussion? Or do you want to try to fit it into the regular discussion? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying one way or
I
another.
understood what you meant. All right.
but it's something we should try to do soon, because we want to, hit the ground running with respects to the permit, watershed permit process, right? The application process, the permitting process, which,
All right.
so
I
then we
guess
can get to,
that's
like,
our
what's
charge.
the next step?
Yeah, I like that idea. Everybody's okay with that whole
Yep.
scenario? Go ahead.
So just looking at your workload, if you want to do it in September, I would suggest that if you want to do it in September, I would suggest that you look at a workshop format. If you're okay with waiting until after the warrant is kind of executed and you've got your motions done for town meeting, then, but it's up to you on how quickly you want to address it.
I personally would like to wait till after we're done with the town meeting stuff before we do it.
I think I would prefer that as well, with so much happening in a busy month already, kind of packed schedule. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Only because we have a lot going already.
Yeah, let's get through that first.
All right. Okay, so that's good, right? Is that the good charge? Is that all right? Okay, good. Thank you, everybody, on that. Jean, I didn't hear from you. Did you have anything you wanted to add? I didn't want to make sure I didn't leave you out. Okay.
No, I agree that we need a bigger chunk of time.
Okay.
For sure, especially, and I do think we need a facilitator with the policy for the select board, and I also agree that virtual sometimes is better, but, I think with a facilitator with the select board issue, we should meet in person.
Yeah, if it's a 4-hour, yeah.
Yeah.
If we were doing out.
Yeah, if we're doing 4 hours. then
All right. Thank you so much, Jean, for your input there. All right, moving on, we're up to licensing.
Can I just ask, just to make sure, because there were 2 dates here.
Sure.
They were potential dates of September 11th and September 18th, and can we just take those off
Yep.
as potential dates? Because the 11th is National Night Out, and frankly, I'd be driving 3 hours back and forth between
Yeah.
my house and.
Yeah.
And the 18th is right after One Cape, so
Yeah.
if people are going to One Cape and then trying to do a workshop the next days,
The nuts week, yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
500 things that week myself.
yeah.
Okay.
Someone just popped up on the screen, don't know.
I don't know, maybe it's because for the licensing, let's see.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So, our next, we have is licensing and events. We have a 1-day liquor license for the sale of beer and wine issued to Mark St. Jean Stone Path Malt LLC at Buzzards Bay Park for the Lion Seaside Walk Fest on September 27th, 2025. Do we have anyone here for that? Oh, that's our friend that just came on. Please, go ahead, I'll give you the floor. Introduce yourself and where you live.
Hi, I'm Amanda McHugh. I live in Bourne. I'm on the committee for the Lion Seaside Walk Fest. This is our second time doing this event this year, but this is our first time adding beer and wine. So we asked Stone Path Malt to be our beer and wine vendor. They applied for the 1-day liquor license for this. And Mark St. Jean seems to be a kind of frequent flyer for Bourne events, so he has all of that stuff under control. So I'm just here just to answer any questions that you guys might have related to the event, or anything for safety related, or any questions you have for us.
I'll go around very quickly. Thank you for that, and see if anyone has any comments or questions. If not, if anyone has a motion, or is everything in order?
It is,
It
yes.
is, okay.
Make a motion that we approve the one-day liquor license for the sale of beer and wine issued to Mark St. Jean Stone Path Malt LLC for the Seaside Walk Fest at Buzzards Bay Park.
All right.
On September 27th, 2025, rain date September 28th, 2025, and subject to all town departments' concerns.
Thank you, Peter. We have a motion from Peter. Do we have a second?
If this is, we're approving the one-day liquor license and the Seaside Walk Fest, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second by Anne Marie. Roll call vote. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0-0. It's unanimous. You're all set. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Have a great night. Next on our list is Anna's Pals, use of town roads for their Born to Run 5K for Anna's Pals on November 9th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
I think Chris Jerome may be
Is she,
here.
is there? Oh, okay, I didn't see.
She just left.
I think, yeah, it
She's
looks
a
like-
black screen, but I don't know if
I don't
she's here.
No.
I'm here,
Oh.
but my camera's not coming on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Please,
I
go
apologize.
ahead. No, don't. It's okay.
You can just talk without your camera.
Just fine.
No, I'm sorry. I'll try it again then. Yeah, so we're really excited to get the town involved in our project, and because we don't have any running water at the facility, we can't really do any events there, so I thought, a great way to get the town involved in what we're doing is to have a run there. So the goal is to start at the Hoxie, go up Wilson Road, run down Scusset Beach Road, cut across the campground, parking lot, well, not even the parking lot, before the parking lot, cut across the campground in front of the pavilion to that little footpath that leads to the canal road, run up the canal road, and then back to the Hoxie.
Very good. Thank
We've
you.
already received the permit for, from the Army Corps of Engineers. DCR is pending. We have our insurance policy for all 3 areas. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain and it'll be a nice day.
All right, well, thank you so much. I scared you, didn't I?
So, for the chair, I know Mrs. Road Race is a fundraiser, so what is the status of your fundraising efforts overall for the old Hoxie School?
We're working on how we hired a consulting firm, and we're actually in the process of hiring a development officer. So all that stuff, we're with the capital campaign pending, so all that stuff is currently in the works and moving forward. We just finished our feasibility study, and all that stuff is moving quicker than I thought it would be doing, so we're pleased with the progress so far.
And how much money have you raised at this point?
We have about $1 million right now.
Of 3 million that you need, you think, or do you have a?
Correct, yes, and with the hiring of the chief development officer, that should move a whole lot faster.
Excellent. All right. Any further questions? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the road race application for Anna's Pals for the use of town roads for their Born to Run 5K for Anna's Pals on November 9th, 2025, no rain date, and subject to any town departments.
Second?
All right. Motion from Peter, a second from MJ. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0-0. It's unanimous. Thank you. You're all set?
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You as well.
Thank
All right.
I
So,
apologize about my camera.
oh, it's okay. All right. Town administrators report.
Thank you. I just have two items for you tonight. The Cape Cod Commission is holding a virtual meeting to discuss the regional policy plan update on September 4th at 2 p.m. The agenda and login information is available on the commission's website. And ISWIM has diverted 14.18 tons of food waste from the landfill so far in 2025.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Okay, and we have minutes. We have one set of minutes from 8/5/2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, motion from Anne Marie. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Peter. Any further discussion? Amendments? All right, hearing none. Anne Marie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
MJ?
Yes.
Melissa, yes. 5-0. Minutes are approved unanimously. And committee reports, if any. Okay. Hearing none. Correspondence. Jean, you're up.
Correspondence for September 2nd, 2025. A, DEP letter UFP-2A PP LUC and UXO support. B, DEP letter Old Cave Range and MRA record of decision. C, email Aaron regarding parking fees, Mass Maritime. D, email Urbanowitz regarding HCA interviews on September 3rd. E, email Spalding regarding handicap parking at Taylor's Point Marina. And F, J. Potter, Talent Bank Forum Housing Partnership Committee. That's it.
Thank you very much. All right, we have future agenda items related to correspondence and other items for discussion.
Melissa,
Yes?
let's go back to the correspondence.
Sure.
We have the email from Ben Spalding regarding the Taylor's Point Marina, 'cause we had them all here earlier. And now that we're on the correspondence, what can we do to facilitate a solution to this? Do we put this on as a future agenda item? My only question, just from an ADA point of view, is you can add a second spot, but it's open to everybody. When someone else jumps on that spot beforehand, then we're back to the same
Well,
problem.
that's the thing, we can't, I don't know as if we
Can't
have that, we
designate to
don't
an
have that kind
individual,
of
you can
authority,
just-
right? I don't believe we can designate a singular
No,
spot.
you
I don't-
designate.
Well,
You
so-
shouldn't
so-
get,
Yeah, we shouldn't
hang
even
on,
talk
you
about
shouldn't
it.
get into the
Let's
merits.
not discuss it. It's not an agenda item,
If
correct?
you want, if the board wants to discuss this,
Yes.
what I suggest you do is, I would actually suggest that a motion be made
Okay.
and the board vote whether or not you want to discuss this. And as
Okay.
part of that motion, it would be extremely helpful if you could specify if you are looking for information or a recommendation from the staff, or if this is something that the board just wants to discuss. Because there's,
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Is it possible to do a temporary thing and then get a recommendation on a final solution?
I can't talk about the merits of this.
Okay,
Right, I was just
All
gonna
right,
say.
so put it as a future agenda item for discussion.
as soon as possible,
Yeah, ASAP.
discussion.
yeah.
And what,
And at that point in time.
But I mean, would it be discussion, or would we want recommendation and?
With
like, I mean,
recommendations
Well,
from
we
the top.
want to kind of, I'd like to know what the town, I'd like to know what Liz, the town administrator, I'd like to know what the staff thinks of this whole process, is the police department, I mean, there's a lot of questions
Or
we have to ask.
Emily,
Emily?
what Emily would like to do, it's the,
Right,
she's in the
exactly.
marina, she knows what
She
the
is the marina,
situation.
right,
So-
go ahead.
So maybe a recommendation.
so I need the board to kind of, if you want us to do all of this research and compile this information, we certainly will, but I need you to balance that and tell me what you mean by as soon as possible, because
Yeah, we have a lot.
I
going on.
can't necessarily promise that I can have that full information from all of the departments
Sure.
ready for you for next week, given everything else we're working on right now. So I need some guidance here about what the expectations from the select board are. And it's important to me that this be from the select board.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just set it for discussion, if that makes it easier. And if we're, if the timing is the issue with all of the request of trying to get, recommendations and have the staff do all of this work for it, maybe we should just discuss it first. I don't know. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion, and if the board likes it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I'd like to make a motion to have a discussion, the next available board meeting, to discuss a temporary solution of adding a temporary handicapped additional sign at that H ramp, pending a recommendation from the administration on a permanent solution.
Second.
Okay, hold on. So, that's a long one.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, so just for clarification in my head. So we're going to have a discussion, the motion is such that we're going to have a discussion about a temporary placement.
Right, so that we can put something in place for the end of this year, and then we can have time to discuss a permanent solution, what's appropriate, what's required, what you're allowed to do, and if we have a situation where there are two handicapped people who have paid for slip fees, can we have two slots for those that are available? They might not be able to always get them.
Go ahead.
But it wasn't. So that's my motion. I'm just explaining my motion.
Madam Chair.
Please do.
I am uncomfortable getting into the merits of any specific proposal.
Well, not right now, or in general.
So it seems that we need a discussion.
A
It would
discussion.
seem we need a discussion of just possible solutions.
Right.
Possible solutions.
I will withdraw my motion, and I'll make a new motion that we have a discussion at the next available select board meeting on possible solutions.
Second.
Okay.
All right.
Marlene, is that direct enough?
Is that better?
So, can you please,
Can we word it?
I'm
Is there a
just-
bit-
can you please repeat the motion?
Sure, she's withdrawing the motion, and then it would be an agenda item just to discuss possible solutions.
Solutions.
So no recommendation, no
Possible
research?
solution discussion with respect
better,
to
that's a lot
handicap
better,
parking at Taylor's Point
Okay.
Marina.
So the expectation from the staff is not to have information prepared for
Gonna
this
have the discussion first.
Okay.
That was my thought in the
Okay.
beginning, yes.
Would it be possible to have the marina director, or DNR director, or marina director there to talk about the situation? So we understand
Present.
from their perspective what's going on?
Madam Chair, the marina director does not control the handicap parking code. I just,
Okay.
I'm really struggling with,
We're just gonna keep it as such.
Okay.
Keep it simple, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion from MJ, a second from Peter, to discuss possible solutions only.
Possible solutions for handicap parking
handicap
spaces
parking.
at Taylor's Point, or handicap parking at Taylor's Point Marina.
Handicap, for additional handicap parking at Taylor's Point. All right, does that sound better? Yes?
and I just want to clarify, I just want to confirm, the next available, that's not necessarily next week, is that the?
No, the next available.
Next available sounds wonderful, because we have a lot going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you good with that? Because I changed your motion.
Excuse me?
Are you good with the edit?
That, it's fine, yes.
Okay, so roll call vote, Anne Marie,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
MJ.
Yes.
Melissa, yes, I'm okay with discussing it. Okay. 5-0-0. All right, unanimous on that. So next meeting dates, we have September 3rd, which is tomorrow, for our HCA interviews. They begin at 1:30, I do believe. We'll be here all day. It's quite a few.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, sorry. Sorry. Why am I on 1:30?
You
Everything's
can be here all day if
1:30.
you want, but we're.
But it's 1:30, we're gonna be here
One.
about 4:30 though, right?
Yeah, probably,
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
we're gonna be here for quite some time.
4:35.
So, yes, that's tomorrow. September 9th and 30th, we have select board. September 16th, 26th, no meetings.
The
October,
23rd, I thought that's supposed to be, right? The
The 23rd.
Yeah, no, yeah,
is it
16th
September?
and Tuesday, the 23rd.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't see, that's a typo then, whatever, there. And October 7th, select board. October 20th is town meeting. And the 28th is Board of Sewer Commissions. I'll be in New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Do we have a
Wasn't going, but
potential
now I
date
can.
for a moderators meeting?
Yes,
Is it in-
I
is it
did.
in the schedule?
It's in the schedule that
All
I
right,
emailed.
that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I need to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Anne Marie,
Yes.
second.
Oh,
Jean.
sorry.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
MJ.
Yes.
Melissa, yes. I know it's a pain, you guys do.